All right. Hello and welcome to the Cherish Ball Champions interview. I am joined today by somebody who does not want to lose in this league. Uh,
Does anybody want to lose though?
well, you took it to a whole new level and decided to not lose at all and go undefeated.
Oh.
So it's like everybody doesn't want to lose, but you said, "But I'm really not gonna lose." So yes, today
I
I'm
mean,
joined by
yeah, I guess you can put it that way.
LukeF. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, your name, where you're from, and what you do for a living?
Well, hey, I'm Luke Falcon. I'm from Texas, originally from Houston, just moved over to San Antonio. I work as a crisis intervention specialist for domestic violence and sexual assault cases. But actually, this fall semester in August, kind of when this is starting, so it's not really a great idea. I am going back to graduate school for marriage and family therapy, so I'm looking for a little bit calmer of a job while I do that, so I can focus on school.
That's cool.
Uh,
Where are you completing uh, your next level of school at?
Our Lady of the Lake University.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's a small school, but
Yeah, but
I like it. I really like the program they
small
have.
schools equals more engagement, which equals you learn more, which means you're better off.
It's it's gonna be so weird because I'm so used to going to schools with like 40,000 plus people.
Oh, I would
Um,
hate. I
right,
I would hate that.
yeah,
Like
and then this school is gonna be like as big as my high school was, which
so,
it's
like
almost 10 years ago now, so that feels so weird in a different way. But
maybe 150. I don't know what be close
oh
to.
no, my graduating class in high school was around like 800.
Oh
Uh,
shit!
this,
What?
yeah, I'm used to
That
big
was
schools.
that's bigger than the college I graduated from.
Oh dang.
That's
Okay.
hilarious. All right.
Yeah, that was my graduating class, but like the
Huh.
entire school, times four, that's around 3,000. That was there, and then this school is about 2,800 people,
Hmm.
including post grad. So
Yeah. So you got a lot of people around you for, I guess, help to learn more.
it's gonna be weird knowing everybody.
Huh.
I don't know.
Well,
I
yeah,
always love
smaller
to
school.
just
Yeah.
walk up to strangers and have a totally different conversation with them and get to say whatever you want because you're never gonna see them again. Not the case anymore.
That's yeah. That's how it works sometimes. All right. So let's dive right in, shall we? How did you get into Pokemon in general slash competitive?
Uh, so I played Pokemon Red when I was a kid, uh, back in like first grade, I guess, or around that time, and that was tons of fun. Enjoyed that, and then I played through. I think Pearl was the last one I played. Then I stopped until uh, COVID hit, and then nothing was really going on, and um, my old roommate was super into Pokemon, so I saw there's a new Pokemon game coming out, and I was like, well, you know what? I've got all this free time while I'm stuck inside anyways. I might as well give it a try. And then the game itself was okay. It wasn't until I started playing online and realizing that, like, wow, this can actually be competitive whenever you're playing against other people. It's kind of a challenge. So,
What was
uh,
the going like? What I guess when you saw the playing online, what struck you first as this being a competitive game? Like what aspect of it?
uh, I don't know. I guess just the strategy of it. So, like, I've got a lot of martial arts experience and background. I wrestled all through high school, and I've been doing like jujitsu, Muay Thai, and a little bit of judo and everything since then. So I really got into a lot of the just strategic games. Like I'm big into chess. Whenever I realize it's kind of that same mindset and mentality without the physical repercussions of martial arts. And this kind of feels similar. The ideas of like predicting, what your opponent's going to be doing, figuring out the best situations to put yourself in, being able to come up with the forks or the ideas of like, when they do this, I'm going to react in this way. If they react this way, I'll do this, and finding those optimal moves. And I don't know.
So
Just
yeah,
all the strategic
yeah.
parts of it is what got to me.
So yeah, so you're one of those guys who like sees, oh, I have a chance to kind of show, outplay people, out prep people, and apply like strategy is, I would say, a genre game.
Yeah, it's definitely about the strategies for me. Like I'm definitely not trying to show off in any way, but it's like I do enjoy the tactical thinking of it.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's where I'm at too. Like just seeing like there's one thing that I guess drives me as well is there's no ceiling. Like there's so much more to learn, and like the more you dive into it, the more you can like understand how things work and how to better improve yourself at the games. At least that's how I see it. I don't know how if you feel any the same or not.
yeah, I could see that. I feel like there's definitely a cap with the gameplay wise, but just the fact that there's so many different interactions that can happen, there's
Mm-hmm.
always something new that you can do. I think that's probably what got me to be not bored of it by this time is that um, there is always something new you can do. Uh, although I am trying to slow down a lot, like I'm definitely gonna try and make sure this is the only Pokemon thing I'm doing while school's happening because I want to be a good student for once, but we'll see if that
I
actually
don't need
happens.
that. Once when school, such a such a blur. All right. So, next question. How did you find out about the SCDA or one of the servers that merged with it?
So I was doing the DPEC thing or the like baby Pokemon because I had just been doing that with some friends beforehand, and that somebody pointed out, hey, there's a whole server that does this. So I did that, and then I ran into you, Julian, and Zach, and DJS in that server, and I think at some point y'all said you were going to hold a quick ball draft tournament for the baby Pokemon. So it's like, okay, I'll give that a try, and did that, enjoyed it, and then y'all happened to be starting the new season at that same time. So I don't know why, but I decided I would give it a try. And such as a Ultra Ball that was really competitive, and it was season 5, which was my favorite season out of all the ones we did. So it's like, yeah, sure, I'll give it a try. I'll see what happens.
Yeah, Series 5 is a fan favorite for mine too. So, I'm glad that you were able to reinvigorate yourself with that experience from when that was the series in the
Mm-hmm.
game. And why don't we just go ahead and get to it? So, you decided not to lose in Series 5. You have, this is the team that we have here. You went 8-0 or 7-0 in the regular season, and then you had 2 matches to get to win the championship. So here's the
Yeah.
team. It's beautiful, and why don't you go ahead and talk about, I guess, the division itself, your team, the format, the individual pieces, the people in it, just overall your experience in Season 7 Ultra Ball.
So I didn't know much about the Ultra Ball or SCDA or how competitive of a league it was. I was just told that Ultra Ball's the top one. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna go for that, where it's gonna be the hardest. And yeah, I still don't really know a lot of the players. I got to know some of them throughout the season, and they're cool people, but I definitely wasn't trying to play to the players because I really just didn't know any of them. So I was like, okay, I'll just play to my strengths. When it came to the actual draft, I was much later in the draft. I was like 13th or 14th pick, so I really didn't know what I was going to do. I was trying not to make a plan until I had something, and then my typical strategy whenever I'm in a weird place in a draft is that I'm going to try and get as like flexible of a mon as I can so I can build around it with whatever happens. But I honestly, this draft I feel like was probably the most like clear cut plan I had with the team. Because by the time it was coming to me, I could tell that Indeedee was dropping to me. It was like, okay, this is the best one that's left. And whenever I had that, I just had in mind of like, okay, I think I'm gonna, I want to make a really strong trick room core so that I know what everybody's always going to prepare for against me. And then it immediately, I also thought of this team that at around the start of season 5, Tio, who I used to do a lot of their stuff with, he had made a team that got to number 1 on the ladder. That was Alakazam and Indeedee and Belly Drum Snorlax. He would pretty much follow me, Belly Drum with Snorlax, and then when Indeedee dies, switches in Alakazam, and it would either speed swap or trick room while Snorlax Dynamaxes, and go from there. And I really kind of thought to myself that like I knew nobody who didn't have Indeedee was going to actually draft Alakazam. So I was safe to be able to leave this as my very last pick and then pick from there. So my next two were Dusclops and Rhyperior because of just I could also tell just from like some of the comments up until that in the Ultra Draft server that a lot of these people were not super experienced with Season 5 and probably didn't remember back then or earlier about how just unbelievably dominant Dusclops and Rhyperior were
It was
against
just all of
everything.
the early series of VGC. That this was the main duo, and it's actually what
Hmm.
died out recent, like a lot. Actually, it died out a
Yeah,
lot. So
yeah, and it was also a huge part of the Sun cores and the Sun teams at that time as well. Was that you wanted a trick room mode for the Sun Room, and it was people tried to make Reggie Rock work in Rhyperior's place for a bit, but they eventually ended up going back to Rhyperior as well, just because it's Rhyperior, and we find out Rhyperior just dies to nothing, even with all those 4 times weaknesses, and it kills everything.
yeah,
Um,
solid rock is a really good ability.
yeah, so that was my core, and then I always try to make sure that more so than typing, I feel like typing is overemphasized in most drafts by most people. I feel so like as long as you're able to cover and they're not able to like spam certain moves, you're okay with having overlapping typings or overlapping weaknesses because you're only bringing 6 Mons. It's not a team of 10, it's a team of 6 whenever you actually go out there. I think it's just so much more important to have no overlapping roles within the Pokemon so that that's really what I was looking for.
See, now that you
I
say
don't
that,
think
it
I
looks
did.
so like perfect. Like when you say about not having overlapping roles, the whole team, each mon has its own certain role, like
Yeah.
which makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, and I mean that's what I was going for. My next pick was I wanted a really strong special sweeper, and I for some reason I didn't get sniped this draft. I don't think that'll ever happen again. But I just was under the impression that Magneton being a free mon was going to be extremely coveted, so I wanted to get it as soon as possible because this is, you know, 120 special attack with a typing that whenever it had a good matchup, it pretty much just invalidated so many people's drafts. It could be bulky, Dynamax, and just sweep everything.
Yeah.
And it
So
did.
when you say
Uh,
coveted, it's probably now coveted. This mon has
it's
been
probably now.
slept on as hell in this league.
Yeah. Because, I mean, at the end of the league, Rhyperior was number 1 in KD in the league, and Magneton was number 3. Um,
Yeah.
like, I think that says something. It was just like 1 kill behind Primarina.
That's crazy.
Because
Yeah.
it just, yeah. And that was, with my other Monsoon a lot as well. Like Alakazam got a good amount, Scyther got a good amount. Um, yeah, Scyther and Vaporeon covering those 4 times weaknesses of grass and water. Um, and then Scyther is also just a really strong mon that was also free and
Yeah.
gave me a great speed control or another option for speed control. While also adding to the fast mode that I really wanted to have. While I have this like super intimidating trick room mode, I wanted to have this kind of undercover, very powerful fast mode that people were probably going to, you know, underestimate so that I can be able to counter whatever they're trying to do to my trick room mode with this really strong fast room mode.
Yeah, you
And
had like this team was extremely versatile the entire season. Like you could do so many different things with this team. Like I prep for this as well, and I like you can't prep for everything is what you learn. So if you build a team like this that has so many different avenues that you can take, your opponent isn't going to see one of them. And sometimes that avenue leads to the overwhelming victories that you've achieved along the way.
Yeah, yeah, and it was a great team. I do think, yeah, Vaporeon I drafted, I did or use it much. I still don't think it was a bad pick because it was a really strong, bulky water type, but it just didn't come out to be needed in a lot of matchups. But I had seen there was multiple rain cores that had come about, and there was also a couple of sand teams, and it was like, okay, this is something that would
Mm-hmm.
really help me into those matchups of all these rain teams. I didn't end up facing any of the rain teams, but I still think it was a solid mon to be put in that place. Um, and I don't know. I do feel like I underutilized it. I definitely could have utilized it more. Slurpuff and Hitmonchan were next, and those were, they were amazing. They did really
Yeah.
great. Slurpuff, I was really wanting an Unburden mon that would help me go
Mm-hmm.
really fast and, have that extra synergy with Indeedee. But I was also able to get Hitmonchan, who at that point I was like, okay, I don't have any fake out, which I know I've got psychic terrain, so it's not as big of a deal, but
Well,
it's
you did have
still
fake out.
pretty much important. Yeah, it is still important to have fake out
Well,
on
and
like
DDF also
literally
has
any
it,
team.
but
Oh, that's true. Yeah, but like I don't. This is for those situations where Indeedee's not on the field. Is that I still wanted to make sure I had fake out or some
mm-hmm.
sort of prevention at that point.
And with Indeedee female, a lot of opponents aren't going to bring their priority stuff because they're going to feel like
Yeah,
it's useless into psychic terrain, which then gives you that advantage.
they do. But then, yeah, Hitmonchan had the extra bonus of inner focus and bullet punch to help proc a weakness policy on Slurpuff, as well as I probably used it as scarf coaching a little bit more than that for things like coaching Recurier or coaching Scyther, and then sweeping from there. Uh, and then it also picked up a lot of kills just with close combat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or low sweep for speed control. So it did a surprising amount as well for another Fremon. Greedent. Greedent was probably my one bad pick. That was me being a little bit scared and thinking like, okay, so if I ever have a matchup that Rhyperior isn't good into, then I have this pseudo Snorlax that I can use in that place. And turns out, like when I started doing all my counts, I'm like, okay, Rhyperior just actually doesn't bite anything. It's living these Rillaboom, Life Orb, Grassy Glides. So like, why do I need anything else? Um, but it still came and used a couple times as like a body press mon, where I would stuff cheeks with a berry, and then it would get the recovery
Mm-hmm.
plus the +2 to +3 defense boost, and then I could coaching it as well and body press or max knuckle, max steel spike. But I still think this is probably the one pick that I would replace or I would redo, and I would get something that's either speed control or just like stat reduction or damage reduction in some way. Either Intimidate Mon or an Icy Wind or Snarl or Big Tears kind of thing.
Well, the stuff
Um,
Cheeks play was a treat to watch, except until you got hazed. But
yeah,
that was
I
the
was so
sad
upset he had
part.
haze because I was like, that thing just ran through. It still picked up like 3 kills that game with body press, so
Yeah.
it did its job. And then Alakazam was my very last pick, which like I had it planned from the first pick, and I was
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like sweating, hoping that nobody, for some bizarre reason, decided to get Alakazam. But nobody did, and then it was uh, Indeedee, Rhyperior, and Alakazam were actually my 3 mons that came every single game, and it was just great. Like it would be Scarf or Specs or Focus Sash, Life Orb, Mental Herb. It did a little bit of everything. And while it wasn't picking up a lot of kills, it would usually come out as a wall breaker and
Mm-hmm.
just tear holes in whenever they were deciding to lead. And uh, get everything so damaged that they really weren't able to counter whatever I had in the back whenever it was coming in.
And it goes back
Uh,
to what you said about your team, like on the surface, looking like a hard trick room team, and then you all of a sudden go Zam, IDD, and you just start blasting through them. I think Alakazam is
yeah,
like so. I think it's a really solid mon, but I think there's better options if you don't have the psychic terrain for it. And so since you did and you planned that nobody was going to pick it at all, was an excellent decision.
yeah. And I remember like everybody, including me, wanted Alakazam to work whenever Expanding Force was announced. Like everybody was trying to make it work, but then they're just like, it's just a little bit too frail. So it eventually fell out of usage. But draft leagues are a little bit different. You don't
Mm-hmm.
have all the same threats. There's not Rillaboom rooming your psychic terrain on every team. Although Rillaboom, Grookey, and Thwackey got drafted, and I faced all three, which was kind of annoying. Um,
Did the Grookey come
but
against you?
yes, all of them came. I had to face all three.
That's awesome. So,
But
were there
it,
any? Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
oh, yeah, no, it's like it was also just that it's so much faster than the majority of other teams. So it was nice that I had a
Yes.
I, I had a better trick room mode than most teams. I also had a better fast mode than most teams. Even there's one time I was able to scarf it to outspeed someone's sand team. I think you saw who had like a Herdier or something like
Yeah,
that,
that
and
sounds like something
Gigalith.
he would do.
Yeah, and it was Scarf Alakazam outsped and OHKO'd them, which was just amazing to be able to beat weather teams in the weather as well with something that fast.
Yeah, that's cool. So I want to just say, were there any highlight matches from your run that you felt like were
Hi,
close, interesting, like just what stood out to you, I guess?
what stood out to me? The finals was actually really close. I got kind of
Yeah, it
nervous there
definitely
at the end.
was.
I knew the whole match was really going to come down to Sandy, how he positioned Sandy Gas and if I could kill it or not. Um, and eventually, it ended up working out in my favor, and I was able to beat it. But a lot of the matches were actually fairly close. I think two, I had four matches that were 2-0, and pretty much all the rest of them were two
Hmm.
and one. Well, all the rest of them were 2-1. So even my match against you, like
Well,
I
I had to.
found, just
What
a lot of
bullshit did I pull out against you? I did something stupid. What did I do against you?
you did not have Sludge Bomb on Gengar, so Slurpuff
Oh,
with
right.
its
Yeah.
special defense boost was able to live everything you threw at it.
I had non Gmax Flapple so that I could grassy glide you.
Yeah.
Oh, what a
Uh,
disaster that was.
but no, I mean, I don't know. The team just worked really well.
Hmm.
Highlight of it was definitely that Hyperior just dies to nothing. And
Yeah.
then same with Magneton. Magneton was pretty much unkillable.
Hmm.
Um, anytime I brought, and then yeah, Slurpuff. Like that is my style, is to be a lot more bulky than offensive, and then but I still like to have that mix where it's bulky offensive. But it was, if you see my builds, they're all definitely on the bulkier side, and they're on the offensive
Hmm.
side,
Well,
and then
when
just
they have over
being
100 in
unkillable.
their attacking stat, you can afford to throw in more into the
Hmm.
defenses, which is something that's really overlooked in team building, in my opinion. It's the fact that you don't
Yeah,
have to go max attack all the time. Actually,
yeah,
you
and it
rarely ever
definitely.
have to.
I think that was also one of the most surprising things is when I would see people post their teams and they were all like 252, 252 4. That is not something I expect from the Cherish Ball. I
No,
definitely
I
expecting they're all
definitely.
going to be like really well EV'd, but yeah, I don't know. It definitely makes a huge difference to be able to invest in your bulk correctly. Um,
Definitely. All right, so
so yeah,
yeah, that's the team. Uh, I would say pick your which one was your favorite to use, but I think the answer's pretty obviously Rhyperior.
I I don't know. I still love seeing Magneton and Scyther be able to sweep through
Magneton in the
things.
finals was cool to see.
Hmm.
Should have been Steel Beam, but we'll forgive it.
Nah, I'm not gonna let it kill itself.
But it's a funny move. Nah, I get you. God damn it! Why is this messed up too? Blame Garden for this. Other way. Shit. I had this all set up and then Garden messed it up. Okay. We're going to head back to this main screen now for the final question. And it is regarding the Cherish Ball division. So, entering this division, what are you most excited for, most looking forward to? I guess just thoughts going into what's going to be the toughest SCDA division.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to being a much tougher competition. I still don't really know a lot of the people in SCDA, so I don't know how like strong it's going to be. But like I've enjoyed playing like you and Zach and Julian and DJS. So like, anything like
I
that,
have
I'm
a
sure
lot
it'll
of
be good.
vengeance to get on you from all the pain you've caused me in Little Cup.
Yeah, but it's definitely looking forward to the stronger competition.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, the more optimized teams, hopefully.
Yeah, and then I think it's interesting how much y'all are like, I don't know, you're doing the interviews and all this other publication-y kind of stuff. So it'll be a fun thing to watch and not just to play it.
Yeah, that was something I wanted to push for. I wanted to make it more of an engaging type event where the players just didn't like build and play.
And we will see how much time I have for it between work and school. But I'm trying to cut back so that I can just only do one Pokemon thing right now.
Yeah, well, we got, a month until we start? Yeah, exactly 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
So, it'll be here sooner than you think. So will your final, or I don't know how many more semesters of school you have, but those will be coming up as well.
Oh, I'm just starting grad school.
When does it start?
Yeah, it starts in August, like August 15th.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a while since I've been in school, so I'm nervous about that. And that's another reason I'm just kind of being like extra precautious. It's been like 3 years since I was last in school.
Need to get back into the flow of things.
Mm-hmm. And then it's grad school. It's been my dream for like the last decade to be a marriage counselor. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh no, I think we're losing him. Uh-oh. All right, well, I think we lost you, but that's going to wrap it up anyway.
Okay.
Thank you so much for joining me. And he died. All right, so we'll just do this. Oh, wait, shit, he's back. God damn it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. We're going to end this right. Okay, good. Now you're back. I'm an OBS noob, but we figured it out. All right. So, yeah, thank you so much for joining me. This was a ton of fun, like, chatting with you, talking to you, getting to know you better.
Yeah, same to you. And best of luck, Spades. I can't wait to see you try to get your revenge.
Oh, yeah. I'll have to work for that. So, yeah, best of luck to you in the upcoming division as well as your grad school.
Thank you.
Very good luck to you.
Bye.
And, yep, for everybody watching, see ya.